Hello there folks, it's TIJ Gaming and welcome back to our F1 2012 career mode with Williams. Today it's time for the 5th instalment of the 2012 Championship, the Spanish Grand Prix. I don't need to tell you anything about this, apart from what is on the screen here. Our teammate Pastor Maldonado is doing the hot lap. You ask why? If you don't remember why he's significant in this race, I doubt your pedigree in watching is any good. Pastor Maldonado won this race, so we have got a good pedigree here in Spain, although, if you remember back to last time, if you watched the last episode, which I'd still recommend you go and do if you haven't done already, which we won't talk about that, what happened there, because we don't want to repeat of what happened in there and China now. You will remember, we showed the race forecast for Catalonia, which shows heavy rain on both Saturday and Sunday, and it could be the first rain of the year. So, I think without any further ado, I'm very excited for this, if the weather forecast fits up to the bill of what it says it is. So we're going to get absolutely straight into it. I hope you guys have enjoyed this series so far. I certainly have. And I hope that you've enjoyed my driving. In the first two races, it was half decent. In fact, in Australia, it wasn't really. For the most part, our driving's been decent in Bahrain and China, but some stupid last lap decisions, which we are not going to make definitely here in Spain. We're not going to make any stupid last lap decisions or be too aggressive on the last lap. We just need to make sure we get it across the line safely, and that's something that's definitely been echoed in that we've lost 13 points, possibly, well, 10 at least, in the last two races, so we've got to keep that in mind. But is the weather going to live up to the expectation? It is. Look at that. It's Q1 here in Catalonia, and for the first time, possibly, since 1996, when Schumacher won in the Benetton. It might be. He was in the Benetton at 96, right? I think he was. But for the first time since possibly 96, it is wet here in qualifying. As you can see, the chance of rain is very strong in all sessions. So I think it might be time to pile the fuel on and get out there for some laps. Because I think it's not about. Oh, lovely! We've got a wet setup. That is brilliant. It's all about just getting used to the track because, of course, there's the forecast of rain for tomorrow as well. So I think it's well worth getting out there and trying to do some laps. Of course, it goes without saying as well that these tracks can improve and get worse very, very quickly in the rain. So it's important you're out there at all times. I didn't really expect that to come in before the corner. But it's very important you're out there at all times just to be out there when weather does improve and get worse. Of course, apart from little segments, we haven't driven the wet weather on this game in this career mode so far, and if this is going to be a fully wet weekend, we need to get some experience in. And because the wet tyres don't grain as much as the softer tyres, there's no harm with being out there for a few laps. Well, I've just set our first lap time. I have to say, the wet conditions aren't as bad as I thought they would be on this game. They're not as slippy as that I thought they would be on these wet tyres. But our bank lap is a 1:34.5. Now, from memory, it's about, especially on this game, that these days are set lap times about 1:18s, 1:17s. I think possibly 1:21, 1:22 might be the standard here, but Kovalainen's gone slower than us. That's a reinsurance that we must be quick if the Lotus is slower than us, but we've gone a fair amount quicker in that first section. As I say, it's all about getting the tyres up to temperature here. It's not necessarily about how much fuel you've got in the box, although that, of course, helps. Maldonado just set a better lap. What's that? It's a second and a half. Well, it's not a second and a half quite. It's 1.2 above our lap. Even though, to be honest, we weren't really pushing on that lap, so I'm not particularly bothered. But we need to get somewhere close, or else we're going to be out in Q1. Oh, would you look at that? John-Eric Vergne just done a 1:31.2. I thought that 1:33 was going to be something to compete with, but Kobayashi's just set a faster lap than that. So whether time's being found in this track now, I'm not sure, but because we set our lap time first of everyone, but blimey, these times are quick. Well, this lap should be a little bit more like it. It's a 1:33.8, which we'll take. It's quicker than Felipe Massa, but I feel like this grid could be very mixed up. Even though Vettel's at the top of it at the moment, it's all about who can find the grip, and to be honest, we are just taking it lap by lap. Not the best corner entry to turn one there, already a scruffy lap this is, but we're just taking it lap by lap. Hopefully the conditions get better rather than worse, and hopefully we can be out there while the conditions are as good as they can be, but it seems that everybody else has got the same idea, so not the best, but we're only a 10th down on our personal best in that sector. We're considering how scruffy it was, isn't too bad, but we need to improve in this sector really, and that's something hopefully we'll do now. Oh, no we won't. That's our first spin of the day. Any front wing damage? Luckily not. That's our first spin of the day. I knew it would come at some point. Just pushing too hard there. Ooh, it's another spin. And that's quite catastrophic that time. Well, bit of an update. We're only being saved by Felipe Massa here, you know. We're only being saved by the fact Massa did such a poor lap. And I feel like he can improve. And we need to improve. We haven't improved since our second lap time. Granted, we've spun on the last two, but we need to improve here to just get out of Q1. Well, the repairs on the car took a few minutes, seeing as we had the broken front wing. But there's only 4 minutes left in qualifying now. I don't know whether the weather conditions have got worse, but we need to improve our lap time by 1.3 seconds just to be out of Q1. This is crazy. I don't think this is going to be enough. We're way better than our personal best. We're about 6/10 up on that, but that's not going to be enough to make the 1.2 seconds that we need here. Unless we have a brilliant last sector, which I very much doubt we will. I think the track's conditions have just got worse. Throughout the session, it's understandable if it keeps raining, the track conditions are just going to get worse. I don't like this last corner at all. We've made the angle just about. It's going to be our best lap so far, but it's going to be nowhere near the time needed to get into Q2, which is really unfortunate. It could be quite a mixed up grid here, and it would have been a good opportunity to progress into quite a good position. But look at that, Alonso 12th, Raikkonen 15th. This could really be a shaken up grid, but unfortunately we're not going to be part of the rest of qualifying, and we go out in P18. He's surely not going to do it again, is he? Look who starts 4th. Pastor Maldonado starts 4th. Surely he's not going to win the Spanish Grand Prix. In the wet this time for the second time. Wow. Grosjean starts 5th as well. Quite a mixed up grid. The conditions aren't as bad as they were. It's intermediate conditions for this race. We might have to keep an eye on the radio as the conditions might change. But these conditions aren't as bad as they were in qualifying, which suits us a little bit more. But Maldonado in 4th, wow, it's a McLaren front row, Hamilton on pole with Button behind him, Alonso 3rd and Maldonado 4th, as you can see there. With the stark contrast, we're right down in 18th. And we need an improvement right at the start. Here we go then, it's our first wet race on F1 2012. The lights illuminate above the drive is going to be a little bit trickier to gain positions going into this first corner. I'm not quite sure what the grid's going to be like, but the lights are out nevertheless. Let's get up to second gear nice and quick. We've had a brilliant start there. Try and carve through the field a little bit now. Oh, look at that. The smoke from the smoke and the fog coming from the rain, coming through there. Few positions gained there, which is nice. Try and get up the inside of Massa. Oh, blimey, Ricciardo's cuts off a little bit there. But Massa, on the inside, he's still there. We've got past the two Toro Rossos, though. And look at how wide the likes of Schumacher have gone, which means that we can get above them. Well, Massa's trying to stick to the inside here, but we're going to try and get him. Hulkenberg dives back in. There's quite a scrap at the front. And as you can see, there's quite a train building, so we might as well just try and take advantage of that. 9th place, maybe we can get past Webber as well. And that isn't a bad start whatsoever, in my opinion. Conditions are a lot better than they were, I have to say. Webber, what's Webber doing here? He's getting all out of shape, and we're right on the back of Mark Webber in the Red Bull. Well, it seems our race predicament is a lot better than our qualifying one, although we cannot get round that corner quickly if our life depended on it. Coming up to the end of the first lap then, nobody's going to benefit from DRS in this race, even though Button has overtook Lewis Hamilton for the lead. Let's check what the leaderboard looks like. Maldonado stayed in 4th. Vettel's had a brilliant start up to 2nd, but that's off, yeah, wow, look at De La Rosa. De La Rosa up to 12, that's brilliant. Fantastic for him. A few dropping down, like Ricciardo and Di Resta, but Pedro De La Rosa in 12th. Of course, it's his home race. His home race, that's brilliant. Bit of a gap starting to form between us, Mark Webber, and the rest of the field. I mean, it's only 2 seconds, so it's not like we're a mile behind, but those gaps are starting to form after the first few laps. But the encouragement is that it's the opposite to the last race, in that our teammate Maldonado's got a little bit of a train behind him, so maybe we can take advantage of that. I don't particularly know. But at the moment, we are struggling a little bit, even though Hulkenberg, I think, has stopped. He's going very slowly. I think Hulkenberg stopped, or he's going very slowly. I can't see either way, but we might get a safety car here. But look at this. What's happening above us? Let's keep on for now. Oh, I thought there was something kicking off above us, but we saw Alonso's drop quite a bit at the start, so that's a bit of a shock. And Maldonado, P4, brilliant. I was just talking about that gap that was formed with Webber. Look at that. 5 seconds behind we are now. Blimey, we're not racing very well today, are we? We're quite a way behind. Our laps aren't brilliant, and if before long we might have a bit of a train behind us. There's some respectable drivers behind us. It's just a shame that we've got a train in front of us and we can't catch up to that. I think on reflection at this point, we should be very happy to be in this position. I mean, we had a brilliant start, fundamentally. I think that possibly, well, that was a ball in the corner there, but luckily we've held on to it. We're not very good in these wet weather conditions, I'll tell you that much, but what I was going to say is that we clearly haven't got the pace to be with the front runners, and it's clear that the drivers behind us are probably quicker. So, if we can hold on to this position, 4 points for us here. We keep banging on about how it'd be brilliant to get a good team results, and another 12 points. Look at Perez here. Another 12 points from Maldonado would be brilliant for us, and hopefully we can get that today. Unless these conditions improve, though, of course, we're not going to get another pit stop. We're not going to get any pit stops, which would be a real shame, because that makes this race very boring for you guys to watch. There's not really going to be much action apart from us defending, which is not really the course of action I like to take particularly. But if that's what we've got to do, we've got to do that. Webber and the rest of the gang are a long way up the road though now. I mean, they're at the start of Sector 3. This is the corner I don't particularly like though. I mean, again, not great. We've gone a little bit wide on the exit, and it seems the other drivers are very good there. I mean, look at Perez, he's pulled forward, and in fact he's got in front of us for that, but we can beat him on the brakes. Although that was a little bit harder there to do. Obviously in the wet there's a little bit more unpredictability about that. But we are very much off the pace in this. I don't know if it's the wet weather, the circuit or what, but we are certainly off the pace. But amazingly, even though we're off the pace, we're still managing to hold the points finish. And if we can keep that at the end of the race, I'd take that every day of the week. And amazingly, we're nearly at half decent. We're nearly at half decent. Oh, I've said it again. We're nearly at half distance now, so that's good stuff. Well, at present, a nice stat for us is that Mercedes aren't going to score anything in this race. They're 13th and 14th. So after winning the last race in Bahrain, we can recuperate some of the points lost. You will see that there is a Lotus a few positions behind. That's going to be Kimi, because Grosjean's in the top 6. But I've said before, I'll say it again, we just haven't got the pace today. So we're going to have to hold this train up a little bit. We're conserving a bit of fuel to use till later. I'm fingers crossed hoping there's a way of bringing us back into this race, whether that's weather related, whether there's an incident that brings a safety car. I'd hate for it to be this boring in terms of the fact that we just sail home to 8th place. Do you like that? Do you like that little pun? It's not quite that bad though in terms of the conditions. Luckily though, the AI drivers aren't being too aggressive, but at the same time, we are absolutely way behind the other pack. 19 seconds now, nearly a pit stop, so even if something did happen, it's questionable whether we'd actually catch the pack ahead. But it seems that at the top of the field, we're just having a little scan down there. Jenson Button has pulled away from the other two, Vettel and Hamilton, but Maldonado still holding that pack up. There's a yellow flag slightly there. Don't know what happened there. An intermittent yellow flag, but nothing serious, which is a bit of a shame. Bit of a De La Rosa update though. He's gone back down to 18th, even though De Resta's down in 22nd, which is peculiar. I have to say that looking at the mini-map, the group of Pastor Maldonado is quite a way behind the top 3, but at this point I don't think Maldonado's complaining too much about holding up a train for 4th. And equally, in most races we wouldn't be bothered about holding up this train for 8th, but it's just the fact that we are so far behind the rest of the group. That's not the best. Ooh, Perez has got us. We slid out of that last few corners there. Hopefully we can get the run back on him on the start finish. We'd hate to lose this position. We'll put the rich mix on. We've saved enough fuel for us to do so. Look how much he's pulling away just on that start finish straight. Got to use our Kers. We max out at 182 though. I mean, look how far he's away. I don't think there's enough. No, there's not enough room for us to make a move whatsoever. So, one mistake made there. It was just a small one, but it put us enough offline, and Perez is now ahead. And he's gone already. I mean, look at that. He's just gone. Wow. That's a bit of a blow in our race with Sauber for the constructors. We know that they've had 2 very good finishes so far. A second with Perez, the driver who just got past us, and a good result courtesy of Kobayashi earlier on in the season. I don't think Kamui is in the points. No, he's not. That's good then. He's down in 16th. But still, it's a little bit worrying for our fight with them. Luckily though, Maldonado's holding up our end of the bargain. we'll be on. I think we'll be on level points because Maldonado's got 2 and we've got 12 as it stands. So we'll get another 2. He'll get another 12. So yeah, it'll even itself out. 14 points for both of us and 28 points for the constructors. That's if it stays how it is, and we know not to jinx the final lap based off recent events in recent races. Oh, Massa's gone for it here. I think we should be able to get back on the braking. He says Massa's holding quite a tight line. We want to make sure we don't take the bugger out. But, well, that was tight. I apologise, it's not been much of an attacking race today. It's all been about survival and hopefully just for the integrity of our early career. We want to get a points finish here. We take the 1 point, of course, but really we want to stay where we are at this point. And even Prez has gone away, which just proves how far off the pace we are and how thankful we are for that good start we made, or else we wouldn't be anywhere in this race. Well, luckily with 2 laps to go, myself and Massa have pulled away from the rest of the pack. I don't know if there's an incident that's happened between the rest of the pack, I'm not sure. But even if we spin here, really, the lowest we're going to finish is in blooming. I'll look at Massa go. I think he's gone. I think Massa's gone there. Let's brake a little bit later, just try and get back in. Points mean everything, and that is a good defence of that position. But no, it's been a really weird race. Just for context, I don't think we've beat our best laps about the 5th lap in. We just haven't been on the pace today. I think it's these wet conditions, to be honest. We're not finding the right lines for, particularly in this sector, I think, coming up now, which you'll see us in the quickest. This corner's not the problem. I tell you where I think the problem is. It's the quick right-hander that goes onto the DRS straight, which was in the next year. I've talked every episode so far about, well, this series didn't have the double DRS, but now we know it is one of the DRS straights. But if we look behind us, we can't, well, we can just about see in far view the approaching train. But we're just over a lap to go. We should be okay. Fingers crossed we don't make a stupid mistake. But how much better it could have been. I mean, we could have got that point in China. 12 points, 10 points, even 8 points are on the line in Bahrain, depending on how many we got, depending on when we ran out of fuel. So an extra 10 points we could have got at this point, but if we can end out this one and get 2 points or even 1 point, I think we are back on in Williams' good books, I'd say. Particularly on the start we made today. I mean, Pasta qualified in 4th, so he's not really done anything. I have to say, these tyres feel like they're going to go off now. Just trying to defend from Felipe Massa. I think this is going to be tricky. The tyres do feel like they're going off. Massa's going to go up the inside. Luckily, he's not going to make it work. But Pastor Maldonado hasn't gained anything in this race. He's just kept what he had, whereas we've gained 9 positions. So, a very good race for us. Shame about De La Rosa, but good thing that Mercedes have not got any points there. I'll be interested to see how that affects their constructors' battle. We, of course, have outscored Sauber as well today. Would have been nice to outscore both drivers, but unfortunately, Perez got the better of us. It's clear that he is a lot quicker. We're just going to go on standard just to make sure we don't run out of fuel. Jenson Button wins the race though. I mean, we're a long way behind Jenson. Just shows how far we are behind. I think though, Pasta's going to come across the line and finish 4th. We can see in a few seconds time. I don't want to take my mind off the race at hand. At the moment we can check the results afterwards. But a brilliant 4th place that will be for Pastor Maldonado. To increase us to 28 points. That's an average of what? About 6 every race, just over 5 every race. 5.6 points, 5.6 points every single Grand Prix. That's quite decent. And considering we didn't get any in the first race, we've done quite well. And we didn't get any in the last race, of course, as well. Not worth talking about that. Oh, for goodness sake, surely not. No, we're okay. We've ran out a little bit wide there, but we've got Verner who's caught up to us. But just make sure we get round this final corner. It's going to be tricky. Making a few mistakes, but we're just mimicking ourselves, I think, here. We're coming around the final corner nevertheless, and I think we're going to make it to the line. It's going to be close, but we are going to make it to the line, and we finish in 9th place, which I think is a good result. We've done very well to hold up the grid there. Just confirming that Maldonado did finish in 4th. We've done very well to hold up the grid behind us. We did fall victim to getting passed by Sergio Perez, but at the end of the day, we've got the result. 2 points for ourselves, 12 points for Maldonado. Fantastic. I mean, look at those fastest laps. We were way off the pace. Everyone was quicker than us. That just sums it up. We were the slowest driver by quite a way. Hulkenberg with the slowest lap, I think, up down to us, and we were 5 tenths off that. De La Rosa and the likes of the smaller teams way off that. But no points for Mercedes today, no points for Raikkonen, no points for Toro Rosso, no points for Force India, no points for Sauber, and that's very positive for us. And as you can see, we've actually managed to beat Ferrari today. It's 14 points for us, 11 for them, 8 points for Lotus, 24 for Red Bull, 4 for Sauber, and of course 40 for McLaren. McLaren are going places in this season, we can tell. Let's have a look at the drivers' standings then. As you can see, ourselves and Maldonado on 14 points apiece. Jenson Button leading the championship by 11 points. Interesting to see that Romain Grosjean and Sergio Perez are 5th and 6th. And how amazing that. 6 constructors in the top 7. With Mercedes in 7th, for Sauber 6th, Lotus 5th, Ferrari 4th, and Red Bull 3rd. Does that contrast with the constructors? It does slightly. We're still in 7th place in that. We're way ahead of Force India, so we haven't got to worry about that team. It seems the big threat is Sauber. And now we're 29 points behind them. That's going to be a big danger. But we have closed in massively on Mercedes. And I think that's a team to try and get up to in our hope of getting in 5th or 6th in the constructors. But that's just a personal achievement. That's nothing that the team have told us to do. But if we can finish 5th in the constructors, that would be brilliant. But unfortunately, it's not a win like we had last in real life with Pastor Maldonado. But it was as good as a win. 4th place for Maldonado. A season best for him, and our first batch of double points for the team, which is really, really important. That's something we hadn't done so far, and for the first time in 5 races, we can both celebrate. We could have done last time, but Maldonado's engine failed, and well, we don't need to talk about me. In China, again, we made the mistake. In Malaysia, Maldonado was out of it. In Australia, though, of course, we were just off the pace. So today, that is fantastic. Well, Maldonado beat us, but to be honest, are we really that bothered? I'm not particularly bothered, but some brilliant career XP coming from that. I'm not really sure how we got it, but I'm not going to complain. Nearly up to level 3 in terms of that now. And now we move on to the Monaco Grand Prix. So we've got 5 emails. Oh, God, here we go. This is starting to look bad. The teammate challenge is looking bad for us at the moment. Maldonado is, well, we need to start beating Maldonado in every session. Blimey. Monaco, no chance of rain. Let's have a look at the teammate challenge data. We're 2-1 down. They are exaggerating a little bit at the moment in that we're doing terribly. I mean, in terms of fastest laps, Maldonado's doing us, but we've outraced Maldonado twice. He's outraced us 3 times. I'd guess that over the season, Maldonado will win the outraced. Hopefully, we can get a podium at some point. We can win that battle and Maldonado doesn't get one of them. I think we can out-qualify him, though, and I think we can get more championship points. So there's no real risk at the moment of losing that championship challenge. But 14 points of both of us in that race. 2.8 as an average for both of us in each race so far. And to be fair, that's not a bad start to the season, regardless of whether we've got 4th places that bolster that points total up and make it look a little bit better than it is, perhaps. And it could be better than that, but, you know, we can't look back on the past. Now we look to look at the future. But thank you very much for watching, folks. I've been TIJ Gaming, and until the next time, which will be Saturday for the Monaco Grand Prix, I will see you guys later. Thank you for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed. And until the next time, it's been a pleasure, folks, for your company today. And I'll see you guys later. Goodbye.